From the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, this is the Entre Leadership podcast, where I take calls from leaders like you about what it takes to win at any stage of business and leadership. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host with over 30 years of experience leading in the trenches, right alongside you. It's what I do every day. I run a thing called Ramsey Solutions. I'm a CEO. This is a practitioner's show, not a show about theory or think tanks. I'm not a guy who never made a payroll. Made one last Friday. So we're here to help you. If you want to participate, give us a call at 844-944-1070. If you got a question about business and about leadership, I'm here. If you also want to leave a message, we'll at the website, we'll get back to you and make you a caller here. EntreLeadership.com/ask. We'll get you on. Valdosta, Georgia starts today off. James is with us. Hi, James. How are you?
Good, Dave. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up in your world?
Oh, not a whole lot. So my question is, I'm a project manager for a specialty roofing company. I'm the only technical employee, but we have about 18 contractors or so that work for us every day. We did $8 million in revenue last year, and I am the younger of the team members, so the owner of the company is older than me. So how do I go about approaching him, the owner of the company, with changes that need to be made on jobs where we're losing money?
Mm-hmm. How old are you?
I'm 27.
How long have you been there?
I've been with him a year and a half, and I've been in the construction business since I was 18.
Okay. All right. If I had a 27-year-old project manager working on our team that saw that we were losing money on something and they had some ideas on how we might not lose money, how could they affect change? Well, number one, their ideas, I want them to understand, number one, their idea might not be right. You might not be right, but you've got an idea, okay? And anyone who's an owner who's losing money probably wants to hear an idea. That's reasonable, okay? How the idea is presented means everything. And if you waltz in there like you're God's gift to project management, you're going to get booted out of that office. All right? So you walk in there with a lot of humility and say, you know, you've been doing this a lot longer than I have, and I've just been here a hot minute, like a year and a half, which is nothing compared to the hours and days you put into this thing. And so I may not know what I'm doing, but I think I see something here where we might make some more money or might not lose money if we change this one thing. Would you want to talk about that? Or could I present that to you? And that's the way you approach it, not you people are all stupid and I've got this figured out. I know you weren't saying that. Right. But you just have to be real careful that tone doesn't come across to an old, crusty founder who's got socks older than you. Right? Yep. So you go in with humility and you go, look, I admire everything you've done here, what you've done. You're the GOAT. You're the original, man. You're the OG. And I'm learning so much while I'm here. I think I see where we could not lose money on a job like this. Would you want to hear what I'm seeing there? And I would, if that was in somebody worked here, walked in my office, I'd say, yeah. But if you come strolling in like you've got it all figured out, I probably not. It's going to be a short meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just because you may not have it all figured out, James. I mean, you may have an idea. I'm not saying you don't. But the experience you got from 18 to 21, that 3 years doesn't even count. You were still growing up. So you don't have 10 years of experience like you think you do. Not compared to your owner. Not compared to the guy who gutted this out while you were in diapers. And so you go in there and say, I think I'm seeing something. I would be honored if you would let me show you, and then you tell me what's wrong with my ideas if I'm missing something. But I think we could not lose money on this type of job. But if I'm wrong, I want to learn something from you. Boy, I love having those meetings. And then we can argue about it if you want to. I don't care. That's fine. But if it's all about the approach and it's all about respect and honoring those that that paved the road while you were in short pants. And that's the thing. And if you do that, then you're going to be all right. And I think you're going to be fine. And I'm not saying the old guy's as arrogant or mean as I am. He may not be. He may be a sweetheart. But that's the way you approach a founder, someone who's been doing something a long time, is you just going, I don't know for sure, but I think I see something. Would you look at this idea with me? And do you have time? And because I think we could not lose money on this type of thing. And you put me in here as project manager, so I really want to help you. I want to manage the project. I want to do a good job. So show me if I'm thinking wrong or right here. And he may go, dadgum. I was in a meeting about 5 years ago, and a guy that is on our team today, he's now one of our top leaders in the organization. At that time, he was fairly new, and he was not a top leader. He was way down the food chain. We're sitting in a meeting, about 10 of us, and he approached that whole group of leaders the way I'm talking about and said, I remember it distinctly. He said, look, I think if we did this, this, and this, that it's $1 million delta, a change of $1 million. And we're all looking at it and we went, okay, do it. I mean, it was like a 30-second decision. And then the next comment was, can you do that again? And that's like, for him and me, every time I see him, we talk about, it's like, can you do that again? Your job now, see, now you've already done it once, so I want you to do it again. I want you to go find me another $1 million where I'm screwing up. That's pretty cool. But he approached that whole meeting, and some of the people in that meeting were like me. They're kind of crusty old farts, and and he approached it and says, guys, I may be missing something. I'm the new kid on the block, but I think if we flip this switch and dialed that dial and did this, that I think I'm seeing this. And we went, yeah, I think you did see it, and I think we didn't see it, and you got it. Ding, 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 you get the brownie points. Well done, sir. Now go do it again. I love it, I love it, I love it. That's so fun. Get after it, James. You may be that guy. You may be that guy right there. God, man, bless you if you are. Bless you and keep you, my son. I love it. This is the Entre Leadership Podcast. Here's a math refresher. There are only 24 hours in a day, so you and your team need to streamline time-consuming tasks to focus on the activities that make money. Smart businesses are realizing that to reduce headaches as they scale, they need NetSuite by Oracle. NetSuite is the #1 cloud financial system, bringing accounting, financial management, inventory, and HR into one platform. With NetSuite, you can reduce IT costs because it's cloud-based. You can cut the cost of maintaining multiple systems because you've got one source of truth. It's a big deal. And you improve efficiency by bringing all your major business processes into one platform, saving time and cutting manual tasks and errors. So join the more than 37,000 smart companies like Ramsey Solutions that have done the math and are boosting their efficiency with NetSuite. And right now, you can download NetSuite's popular KPI checklist designed to drive the right behaviors for your business. Absolutely free at netsuite.com/Ramsey. That's netsuite.com/Ramsey to get your own KPI checklist. Are you done waiting for things to improve on their own yet? Well, your business won't grow faster or become healthier if all you do is listen to leadership podcasts. You got to take action. The Entre Leadership System is the roadmap that will help you do exactly that. You're going to finally scale your processes and systems, unify your team, build a business you love to run. This system is how we built Ramsey, and it's how we've taught thousands of small business owners to transform their lives and their businesses. It works. Now it's your turn to drive your business forward with the Entre Leadership System. Go to EntreLeadership.com/get-started to download your free, oddly enough called, Getting Started Guide. It's free. You can get started with a Getting Started Guide. Wow, who knew? This guide will walk you step by step through the practical steps I took to build Ramsey Solutions from a card table in my living room to a $300 million business. That's EntreLeadership.com/get started to download the free Getting Started Guide. Did I mention it's free? I did. Scott's with us in St. Louis. Hey, Scott, how are you?
Hi, Dave. Thanks so much for taking my call. It's such an honor to talk to you.
You too, man. What's
come
up?
True. So my wife and I have been married for 26 years. We have 3 kids, and between us, we own 2 businesses, and my wife is a full-time teacher. We are suffering from being blessed too much and blessed on all fronts and paralyzed with all the options we have. My wife thinks something needs to change. We're too busy. She's stressed out. It says something needs to change, and we've got so many different ways we can go, and we can't figure it out. Business one is a treadmill operator web business that I do out of my home. I've been doing for 20 years. It brings in between 150 and 200,000 a year. Almost all of that net profit.
That's your job.
Thing in the world. That's my job. That's what I do 4 days a week.
So you're like a freelance web guy.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, all right, I got it.
And been doing that. And I have a small team. Yeah, sometimes I have a programmer or two working for me, but
that's all contract.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Hourly. Yeah. Exactly.
All right.
Business two is a peak performer retail store. It's been around for 17 years. Pays us very little, about $50,000 a year we make. Its revenue is close to $1 million a year, but I work there literally 1 day a week, about 6 hours. My wife works maybe 8 hours a month there. It's sort of set it and forget it, just auto run. We've got a fantastic team of about 20 employees that run it, all part-timers, and the customers love us. The store runs great. Everything is perfectly fine there. But all this accumulates to stress in our lives. And my wife's a full-time teacher, as I mentioned. So we have some options. So for example, selling the store is one of the options. One of them is my wife keeps saying, why don't you go get a real job? And so you can get the health insurance. Exactly. So you can get the health insurance. I can quit my job and go work at the store. We've got lots of different ways we could go. What more can I tell you?
How long have you been making 150 to 200 a year at your job?
Probably almost the whole 20 years. It's been our primary source of income for 20 years.
Okay. Well, I mean, if she wants to go work at the store and quit her job, go buy some health insurance. You make $200K a year.
Yeah, there's one other thing that helps us, which is we have a tuition reduction for our kids who go to private school also where she teaches. So that's saving us about $20,000.
Yeah, but she's not going to have that if she quits her school.
Exactly.
And she wants to quit. And she wants to quit.
She kind of wants to quit, yeah.
You can't have both things. You can't quit and keep the tuition reimbursement. And you want to quit, so that's a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although she says shut down the store, if we sell the store, bank that money, and then she'll work and it'll be less stressful for her.
At school?
Correct.
So why is it stressful? She doesn't do anything over there.
I think it's one of those things, and as a business owner, it's always on the back of your mind. You're always, every time we go to dinner, that's what we talk about. Every time we're sitting around together, that's what we're talking about. There's always little decisions that need to be made. She is the president of the store, so she does get the final say-so and everything. So there are often times we're consulting with her saying... So
she's running the store, essentially, and she doesn't want that responsibility and the emotional stress that goes with that responsibility.
I think that's pretty accurate.
Yeah. Because I'm guessing with her pay and the tuition reduction and the health insurance, that her teaching job makes more than $50K.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, her pay is over $50K.
So why would she go to work for $50K and take a pay cut doing something she doesn't love?
Well, we're getting $50K now from the store. In theory, she would get a little more.
Well, but not
offset
much.
Some employees, yeah. But I mean, they're 10
You're just replacing some hourlies is all you're doing with your time there.
That's it.
You'd put your own butt on the floor, and that's not that's back into a treadmill situation.
That's right. That's exactly right.
I don't know.
Brokers
I get. Here's another way you could back into it. Sometimes we do this with our decisions around our house. Is 10 years from today, we are doing X. All right. What's that look like? What's your life look like? Okay.
Yeah.
One way is you're running the store and you getting a real job is a ridiculous, insulting statement. You have a real job. You just happen to be self-employed and you make a lot of money, more than she makes it, or two things combined. So that's insulting, okay?
Yeah.
That's just her stress coming out. But just because you're self-employed doesn't mean you don't have a real job. That's silly. So anyway, put that aside. So your job stays in place because you didn't tell me anything that you dislike it, and it's the cash cow of the three things. So
yeah, I love it.
10 years from today, you're still doing this or some version of it, okay? 10 years from today, is she a teacher or a retail president?
I asked her that question because you had a similar question on this podcast a couple weeks ago. And I said, I bet Dave's going to ask me, what are you going to do? What do you want to do 10 years from today? And she said, I want to be sitting on the beach in Florida, retired.
How old are y'all?
50. She's not even 50. She's mid-40s.
Okay. Okay. That was not one of the two options.
Yeah.
One of the two options is you're either a teacher or a third option is you're working doing something else. But that's, again, a facetious answer. That's I'm stressed out. I'm just going to put my feet in the sand. Well, that's not really what, you want to quit work completely. That's the job. Okay? Which means you're not going to be a teacher and you're not going to be, how old are your kids?
My youngest has 7 more years at this tuition reduction. He's 13. I'm sorry. Yeah, he's 13.
Okay. So then 10 years from now, she could quit her job. That's true.
Easily, yep.
Maybe it's not a facetious answer. Maybe it's a real answer. I'll shut up. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So she does. So she works 10 more years as a teacher and then quits.
Sure.
And you sell the store now. That's one option. Or we quit teaching and we buy some health insurance and we pay our own tuition. And she goes and accentuates and grows the store. And 10 years from now, you sell the store.
Sounds great.
Either one. Which one you want to do, honey?
I'm asking you. What you
No,
think.
I don't care. Doesn't matter to me. This is you talking to your wife. Which one of these do you want to do?
Yeah.
Because you're telling me both of them are not cool. So somebody's leaving. Let's choose who's leaving. Teaching or store. And let's do that based on, I want to retire from this 10 years from today. Which one do I want to retire from? Teaching. I want to spend the last 10 years of my career teaching, or the last 10 years of my career before I retire on the beach. And my husband works as a web designer, and I retire on the beach from selling the store. I'm okay with either one. If you take on the store, your job is to not do 50,000, because 50,000 on $1 million sucks.
Yeah.
That's really tight margins.
Well, yeah.
You blink and you're losing money on that.
Good point.
So if we're going to take on the store's got to start doing better. It's kind of cute and cuddly now, but it's not a killer operation. And it needs to become a killer operation if we're going to keep it.
I like that.
So if we're going to go all in on store, let's go all in and let's go make 150 on this puppy and get sales up and get margins up and tighten this thing up and get it going. And let's get the right kind of people on the floor, and it's no longer we're just a service to the community. We're actually going to try to make some money here and, all that stuff. So, yeah, I don't care which one y'all do. But I think the way Sharon and I would sit down and talk this through, or one of my leaders, if we were doing strategic plannings with a certain segment of Ramsey, what do we want this to be in 10 years? Closed? And we grow it and sell it off? What this piece of Ramsey? What do we want publishing to look like 10 years from now? We want live events to look like, or podcasting to look like 10 years from now. And then let's get about the business of doing that. That's our desired future. What must be true that's not true now? And I think as soon as you make a decision to cut one or the other loose, her stress level is going to drop way down. Even though she still has to do some of the work until it's gone. It may take a year to sell the store, but knowing that it's going away is going to be like this huge burden relieved from her. So, as a couple, which one gives you the most peace? Which one gives you the most fulfillment? Which one gives you the most money? Where you look at it and you go, well, that was worth it. Let's do it. Game on. This is the Entre Leadership Podcast. Sometimes we have callers. Sometimes we have folks who send us a video submission, and that's what we're going to go to now.
Ryan Kahn. So I'm in accounting and consulting, kind of tax strategy, planning, and advisory. We have 17 team members right now. Top line, one company's $3 million, the other's about 5.5, so usually between 7.5, 8.5. How do I inspire other business owners to get the cup overflows model truly wrapped around their head and create a network around those same like-minded individuals?
What a wonderful question. What a great idea. Because you're coaching on tax strategy and planning other businesses, and you can introduce this to them. The cup overflow model that he's talking about is referring to the Havdalah service that Orthodox Jewish folks do on Saturday evening. I found it from my friend Rabbi Daniel Lapin in his book, Thou Shalt Prosper, which I highly recommend and wrote the foreword to, by the way. So the Havdalah model is that on Saturday evening, a Jewish family will gather, and they have a cup sitting, a wine chalice sitting in a saucer, and they pour wine into the cup until it overflows into the saucer, symbolizing that during the work week ahead, you are to first fill your own cup, take care of your own family, and then have overflow to be used for generosity for the good of others. And that's what he's talking about. How do I encourage businesses to have a small enough lifestyle at home with the money that's coming into the business to where there is some overflow for generosity? Because no matter what you make, you can expand the size of your lifestyle, your cup, and there'll never be any overflow. If you keep growing the size of the cup, it just keeps eating all the wine. There's never any overflow. So you have to limit the size of the cup to be less than your income so that there's overflow for the good of others. The only principle is not how much you spend on yourself. The only principle is that you spend less on yourself than is coming in, so that there's overflow to be used for the good of others. That generosity principle causes people to prosper because it creates self-discipline, it creates frugality, and it creates an eye on others, not just an eye on self, selfishness versus selflessness. And so we're become more selfless when we're more generous, and it is a muscle that you build over time by doing it. Now, when you are a startup business and you're making 2 nickels, you're probably not going to have any overflow. The first year we opened this, the year before we opened it, I was doing real estate after having gone broke in real estate, but I still got back up to in the late 1980s, early 1990s, I was making $120,000 a year. The first year we opened Ramsey and started teaching Financial Peace University and speaking and selling a little self-published book out of the trunk of my car and doing a radio show that I lost money on every month, but was my lead magnet. The first year we did that, my income went from 120 to 60. And actually, it's what we projected. We projected we would make 60, but we made the decision that God's call was on our life to teach this material on what the Bible says about leadership, what the Bible says about handling money to other people, because it had saved our lives. And we were willing to take a pay cut, plus we were willing to take a pay cut because we thought it was temporary. We thought we'd make a lot more because there's so many people need help with money and leadership. And turns out we were right about that, because we've made a bazillion more dollars since then, over 35 years ago. That was. So we took a step back. Now, the year we took a step back was our generosity. When our income went in half of what it was the year before, was our generosity through the roof? No. We tithed because we're evangelical Christians, and that's all we did. We gave 1/10 of our income. There was no additional overflow for the good of others other than our tithe to our local church. But we did do that. So there's a baseline there of what we did as a part of our faith walk. That's what our calling is. So we did that. But the idea being, to answer your question, Ryan, is to teach businesses as they make more, don't just spend more. Spend more and give more. Spend more and give more. Spend more and give more. And let that overflow. Always keep your business and personal lifestyle combined to be the total of which to be less than the gross revenues, so that there's overflow to be used for generosity for the good of others. If you do that, it's a really good practice, because it doesn't matter what you can make, you can spend it. You guys all know that. I mean, the year I went from 60 to $1 million income, you can spend $1 million as easy as you can spend 60. And it doesn't take long, believe me, because they take half of it in taxes before you start, by the way. But anyway, that's what you're facing. So you've got to develop this natural rhythm of discipline of, no matter what I make, I live on less than that. My business overhead and my personal overhead in total is less than my total income, my revenues, so that there is money left over to be used for the good of others. That's the Havdalah principle from the Orthodox Jewish community. Probably other parts of the Jewish community as well, but that's the Havdalah principle anyway, as I learned it from the rabbi. This is the Entre Leadership Podcast. Thanks for joining us, America. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. This is the Entre Leadership Podcast. About the only thing I can promise you around here is it's real. There is no fake around here. I don't have time for it. Life's too short. We're not making anything up. This is what we do every day. We chew it up and spit it out, man, and that's what we're here for. Canada's on the line. Trevor's calling. Hey, Trevor, what's up in your world?
Hey, Dave, how you doing?
Better than I deserve. How can I help?
Of course you are. Hey, so me and my wife just recently purchased a business, and we kind of put baby step 2 on pause. We paid some stuff off, but we put baby step 2 on pause to put a down payment on the business. And we're just trying to prioritize paying off debt, either between our business or personal. So we kind of have some student loans left over, well, her student loan anyways. And then the business has a small owner finance and the building.
Okay. So what do you owe the owner?
It's $130,000.
Okay. What do you owe on the building?
It's $680. It's appraised at $810.
And that is with a bank loan?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
And you bought that at the time you bought the business?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So top line is like $700,000.
I got it.
And we net about 10-15% or so.
So you're making a whole $80,000.
Yeah. So that's with
Wow.
paying myself. Kind of. I've been in the business for 10 years. So that's paying myself the same
What are you being
wages,
paid?
and then that's so $60,000 is what I've been paid, and then that's with the old owner too as well, taking money out. So there's a lot more meat on the table for sure.
Okay, I'm sorry. The old owner is taking money out? Why are they taking money out?
So I just bought this business. Like, we take possession in August in like 2 weeks here. So
Okay, so what will you make in the coming 12 months, net profit on this business? If you make 60, what's the net profit?
Making 60, our projected net income is about 80,000.
Okay. Wow. You're not making nothing. Holy crap. What did you pay for? Well, you didn't pay a lot because you only owe 130. I hope.
Right.
I don't know what you did. Okay. All right. And her student loan is what?
It's 40,000.
Okay. And what other debt do you have?
Just 130,000 on my house mortgage.
Okay. All right.
It's worth like 200.
Okay. We teach a process in the personal finance realm called the baby steps. You're aware of that, it sounds like.
Right.
And
yeah.
Real estate all goes in baby step 6, and that includes your building.
Okay.
Okay, which leaves me $170,000 worth of debt, a student loan, and $130,000 to this owner. of which you've got $80,000 and a $60,000 income to work on this, plus your wife's income. What does she make?
Yes, that's the thing. She's a teacher, so she makes about 70,000. But to throw another monkey wrench in, we're also on stork mode, so she's going to be due in January. So we're not exactly sure how soon she's going to be going back to work. But in the meantime, she's got a year or so. Not quite, but.
Okay, so that income's gone.
Basically, yeah.
Okay. Congratulations on the baby. I'm trying to figure out how y'all plan to do all this on $140,000 a year. Yeah, this is tough. Did you personally sign the note for the owner, or is it only leaned against the business?
It's leaned against the business, and it's interest-free, and he wants a payment within 5 years. So
on the 130.
On the 130, correct? Yeah.
Yeah. What can you live on at home?
We're pretty frugal, so I actually don't know if we've ever done like a yearly. We're using every dollar for our monthly expenses.
What's your monthly?
Right around like $2,000 a month.
Okay.
So
Let's call it 4 and make that 50,000 just for fun. Okay. Because you got a baby on the way. All right. If you got 50,000 and you make 60 minus taxes, so basically you're going to clear the 80, give or take. And if you throw 80 at 170, you'd be done. That's 130 plus 40. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If you throw 80 at that for 2 years, you'd almost be done.
Okay. And that's with no retained earnings in the business, right?
True. And I don't want to do that. You've obviously studied what we teach, so I'm backing up. Yeah. I would set aside 15 to 20% of your net profits in retained earnings. And I would throw the rest at the student loan and or split it between the student loan and the owner. But either way, you need to be done in 3 years here. And the other possibility is that you take this business and make it more profitable, which I think was probably your reason for buying it.
Right. So
it'd be neat if you made 120 instead of 80.
Right. So the building's actually quite large, and we only have 5 employees right now, and it's 5,000 square feet. It's a body shop, and things have just been kind of run on a skeleton crew lately. The old owner's son actually committed suicide, and it's been a kind of a sad situation. So things have been just kind of on autopilot for a while. So I mean, the market is there definitely to improve, but I'm just trying to go off of what we've been doing, right?
Yeah, you got to get out there and work it, but you could double your income here.
That's the hope.
Which solves the whole thing in a year and a half, right? You pay off the student loan and the owner in a year and a half.
Yeah.
But I'm going to retain 10 to 20% of net profits after you make your 60. You can live on your 60 is what we're saying with your wife quitting with a baby, and anything that's profit, then we're going to set 10 to 20% aside. You figure out the number, whichever you want it to be, for retained earnings to invest back into the business and grow it. And then get out there and hustle and grow. And let's get this thing shiny again. Get it all cleaned up inside. Customer walks in, they get a whole different feel, everything. The whole marketing look, the look, tone, feel of the whole business shifts. And you get out there and scratch around with the insurance companies. Let's get the business lined up, get it flowing back in if it's a body shop. And, you go double your income from 80 to 160. You only got 170 in debt. Then you're done in a little over a year. And now that starts to make a whole lot of sense. Yeah, that's the route I would go. Something along those lines. If it stays at 80, I'm going to do some combination of about half of that going towards student loans and about half of it going towards the owner, because one's down at the office and one's at home. And I do need to clean that owner up fairly quick because you do have a 5-year note on that. And I don't want that balloon coming and popping in my face here either. That doesn't make any sense at all. So, good question, man. Good job. Keep it up. Keep up the fight. Remember, better a weary warrior than a quivering critic. This world needs more high-quality leaders. Take courage and lead. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Thanks for listening to the Entre Leadership Podcast.